wanted to talk a little bit about training for fighting and what's involved and how you get into it. And I remember how I started. We didn't have instructors that would take you to fight. You had to want to do it yourself. You had to want to train yourself. I started investigating what people do to fight, especially boxing, kickboxing, that kind of thing. And I started looking at, they run. Okay, so how do they run? Yeah, well, you got to run 3 miles. Okay, so I started running 3 miles. I was running 3 miles for 2 or 3 weeks. Somebody said, well, you got to do some sprints. Okay, so I started doing sprints. They said you got to hit a bag and you have to do weight training and you have to do all this, and on top of doing your sparring. So, well, how much sparring should I be doing? 12 rounds, 10, 12, 20 rounds a week. And they said, no, 10, 15 rounds a week. So I was doing that already. My first instructor wouldn't take us anywhere to fight or train. He was a great instructor. He just wasn't really interested in developing a fighting stable. But one of the instructors under him, Gus Larea, who's the first guy who brought me along, he did like to go fight. He loved to go fight himself, and he always took me wherever he went. And he started kind of mentoring. He said, you got to go hit the bag. I said, well, what do I do? He said, well, hit it for 2 or 3 minutes, several rounds. So here I was trying to get in 10, 20 rounds on the bag. And at first I'm just kicking and I'm learning how to punch and I'm doing all this. And again, I'm still taking my martial arts classes. This is in addition to that. And every weekend we were going, or even during the week, we were going somewhere to fight. Whoever. Karate guys, Taekwondo guys, Kung Fu, whoever. We were fighting somebody. And we were going to tournament. Back then, tournament meant point fighting or continuous. Then it became full contact. And even the full contact was limited. You couldn't go everywhere for it. But I took advantage of everything that I had, and I had to find the answers for myself. I bought books. I read up on Benny the Jet's method. I looked at guys like Heel Cho, Paul, at that time, the Jeet Kune Do guys, to see what they were doing. We were picking up as much information as we could. It's just so much easier now if you've got a trainer and they have this information. Just kind of follow what your trainer has to say, especially if you know they've taken people to fight and they've done well. Not everybody's going to have a world champion. It doesn't make them not a good trainer. I've had people, the best people I've ever had were the ones that lost 50 pounds to be able to fight. Yeah, maybe they won the fight, maybe they didn't win the fight, but they made a marketed change to their life. They made something of themselves, and the desire to achieve is what made them do this. As a trainer myself, and as a person who fought before, there's nothing more exciting than getting up in there. You don't know what's going to happen, and you're doing your absolute best. And the more you train, the less you bleed. There's no question. The harder you train, the more you prepare yourself, the better you're going to do. The better prepared you're going to be for whatever comes before you. So I just wanted to say that today, because a lot of times people think like we had access to all this great training and great help. A lot of the best instructors were not good trainers.